You know that moment when you walk into a room and immediately know something is off? Even though everyone else is just laughing, eating, completely unbothered? Maybe the host's smile is slightly too wide. Maybe two people haven't made eye contact in the last 20 minutes. Maybe the energy just feels wrong, and you can't explain it, but you know. And then the night ends. Everyone leaves saying, "That was so fun." And you're standing there thinking, did they not see what I just saw?
It's Psychology Unfolded, where we decode what makes you, you.
Yeah, they didn't. And here's the thing. That's not a glitch in your system. That's your system working exactly as designed. Today, we're talking about the psychology of people who see what others don't. The ones who notice everything, who read the room before anyone else has even entered it, who feel things that haven't been said out loud yet. And no, you're not paranoid. You're not overthinking. Your brain is just running a completely different operating system than most people around you. Let's get into it. Here's the thing most people don't understand. Not everyone's brain processes the world at the same resolution. Most people walk through life in, let's say, standard definition. They pick up the big stuff: loud sounds, obvious emotions, major events. Their brain has a built-in filter that screens out the rest. It's efficient, it's practical, it keeps them from getting overwhelmed. Your brain never got that filter installed. Psychologist Aron first described this in 1996, when she identified a trait called sensory processing sensitivity, or SPS. And what she found was genuinely wild. About 15 to 20% of the population has a nervous system that is fundamentally wired to process incoming information more deeply, more thoroughly, and more intensely than average. Not just sights and sounds, everything. Tone of voice, the half-second pause before someone answers a question, the way a person's shoulders tense when a specific topic comes up, the slight change in someone's breathing when they're uncomfortable but pretending not to be. Your brain catches all of it, files it, cross-references it against everything else you've observed, and then delivers you this quiet, undeniable knowing. Something is happening here that nobody's talking about. And then someone looks at you and says, "Why do you always read too much into things?" Too much, right. Here's where it gets really interesting. The reason your brain works this way comes down to how your neural pathways process sensory input. In highly sensitive brains, the thalamus, that's your brain's information relay station, doesn't filter out as much incoming data before passing it to the cortex. So more raw information reaches the thinking parts of your brain. More data in, more connections made, more patterns detected. Researchers at Stony Brook University found that people with high sensory processing sensitivity show significantly greater activation in brain regions linked to attention, integration of sensory information, and complex decision-making. All triggered by things most people wouldn't even consciously register.
Think about what that means for a second. Your brain is running analysis on inputs that literally don't exist for other people's conscious experience. You're not imagining things. You're perceiving things that are real, but below most people's detection threshold. It's like being the only person in the room with night vision goggles. Of course you see things they don't. You're working with more information. But here's where it gets heavy too. Because all of that extra processing, it costs something. Aron's research consistently shows that people with high SPS report significantly higher levels of emotional and mental fatigue after social situations. Not because they're weak or dramatic, but because their brain is doing 3 times the work of an average nervous system just to get through a normal Tuesday. A regular conversation for most people is a stroll through a park. For your brain, it's running a full background scan on every variable in the environment while simultaneously trying to hold a normal conversation about the weather. No wonder you need a full day alone after a 2-hour social event. Now, let's talk about what's actually powering this, because there's a neurochemical reason why your brain works this way, and it's fascinating. Most people's reward systems run primarily on dopamine, that hit of pleasure from novelty, social buzz, external stimulation. But research suggests that highly perceptive brains rely more heavily on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that activates during deep focus, careful observation, and internal reflection. Translation? While everyone else needs the party to feel alive, you come alive in the quiet, in the details, in the moment you finally figure out what's really going on beneath the surface. That's not a flaw. That's just a different kind of fuel. And here's something that'll genuinely surprise you. This depth of perception doesn't just affect how you see the world, it changes how you understand people. Neuroscientist Bianca Acevedo found that highly sensitive people show significantly higher activation in mirror neuron systems, the brain circuits responsible for empathy and emotional resonance. You don't just observe emotions. You feel them. Someone walks in carrying invisible weight, and your nervous system picks it up before they've said a single word. You absorb the room. That's not a metaphor. That's mirror neurons firing in overdrive. And yes, that's beautiful. And yes, it's also exhausting, because you didn't choose to feel everyone's everything. Your brain just does. So what do you do with all of this? First, stop calling it a problem. Your perception isn't a sensitivity issue to manage. It's a precision instrument. The people who change things, who create things, who actually understand people deeply, they're almost always running this exact operating system. Second, learn to protect your bandwidth, because you can't run a high-performance system on empty. Solitude isn't indulgence for you, it's maintenance. Recovery time isn't weakness, it's how you stay sharp. And third, trust what you see. When something feels off, it usually is. When you sense a shift in someone's energy, it's real data. Your brain has been collecting and processing information that others missed entirely. That quiet knowing you feel, it has a name. It's called accurate. You're not too sensitive. You're not paranoid. You're not seeing things that aren't there. You're seeing things that are there, that most people simply don't have the wiring to notice. And in a world full of people sleepwalking through surface-level interactions, someone who actually sees, really sees, that's not a burden. That's a gift. So next time someone tells you you're overthinking, just smile, because you're not overthinking. You're just thinking at a resolution they haven't unlocked yet. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the most accurate thing you ever picked up that nobody else noticed? I want to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe. We break down the psychology behind the way you're wired and why it makes more sense than you think.